Hey, what's up, everybody? Gonna do a tribute reaction, man. This tribute reaction is going out for Judith Durham. Judith Durham was the lead singer of a popular band in the 60s called The Seekers. And I got a notification a couple of days ago. Sorry, it's a little bit late getting to this reaction and tribute, that Judith had passed away, and it was coming by way of Charles Hogue. Thanks very much, Charles. Charles said, Wayne, Judith Durham, who was the lead singer with The Seekers, passed away. The Seekers were quite popular in the 60s and had a number of top 10 hits. I've included 2 live videos of what I consider to be their biggest hits, and those hits are Georgie Girl and I'll Never Find Another You. So what we'll do, man, usually with tribute reactions, depending on how many tunes are sent my way, we'll do a back-to-back, and then after that I'll do a little bit of a wiki read about Judith and her life and her contributions to music. That's how it works, man. So without further ado, man, let's hit this up. So she was the lead singer. I don't know if it was an all-lady band. The only all-lady band I can think of from back in those days was Fanny, aka Thinking of You, Amy Brooks. Amy introduced me to Fanny. I can't think of anyone else. So maybe she was a lead singer with men. I'm not sure. So let's hit this up. And it's going to be starting with Georgie Girl. So let's call this a double shot. The Seekers, Georgie Girl, and I'll Never Find Another You. Let's get it. A lady and 3 drinks. Cheers. Cheers to you, Judith.
Hey there, Georgie girl, swinging down the street so fancy free. Nobody you meet could ever see the loneliness there inside you. Hey there, Georgie girl, why do all the boys just pass you by? Could it be you just don't try, or is it the clothes you wear? You're always window shopping, but never stopping to buy. Just shed those downy feathers and fly a little bit. Hey there, Georgie girl, there's another Georgie deep inside. Bring out all the love you hide. I don't want to change that be. The world would see my dear Georgie girl.
That's a cool shot.
Hey there, Georgie girl, dreaming of the someone you could be. Life is a reality, you can't always run away. Don't be so scared of changing and rearranging yourself.
She's big.
It's time for jumping down from the shelf a little bit. Hey there, Georgie girl, there's another Georgie deep inside. Bring out all the love you hide. You don't want to change and leave. The world would see a new Georgie girl.
You know you've made it big when you brought that this time. Look at that. Nice. They were classy as hell back in the day. Got their nice dresses and suits on. They bow. Another dial. Those were the times I wish I was around. Okay. I'll never find another you.
You ready? Right, let's make this the one.
Doesn't he look like Peter Gunn, the actor in Peter Gunn with glasses? Let me know if you know what the hell I'm talking about.
There's a new world somewhere they call the promised land, and I'll be there someday if you will hold my hand. I still need you there beside me, no matter what I do, for I know I'll never find another you.
There is always someone for each of us, they say, and you'll be my someone forever and a day.
I could search the whole world over until my life is
I really like the ladies' fashion back in the day.
I'll never find another you. It's a long, long journey, so stay by my side. When I walk through the storm, you'll be my guide, be my guide. If they gave me a fortune, my pleasure would be small. I could lose it all tomorrow and never mind at all. But if I should lose your love, dear, I don't know what I'd do, for I know I'll never find another you.
Nice harmony.
But if I should lose your love, dear, I don't know what I'll do, for I know I'll never find another you, another you, another you.
Excellent. Right on. That was excellent. The Seekers, so that's what they look like, that's what they sound like, and that's what Judith sounds like. Really nice. Nice, pretty lady, very, very well presented, beautiful voice, and really excellent harmony with all of them, you know? So, first off, right off the top of my head, I'll tell you this, man. All right. I wasn't around in the 60s, but I remember these tunes. I remember both of these tunes. And how I remember these tunes is it's taken me back into my childhood years. And this music, I would probably dare say more so it's my dad's music. You know, there's two major influences growing up between my mom and my dad. My mom was a little bit more on the Soul Train side, a little bit more on the the funk, the soul, and a lot of that. And my dad was pretty much a bit of everything else. On his side, there was classic rock, folk, a little bit of reggae, a whole fusion of different things. So I would say, without knowing 100%, that this is my dad's music. So that is where the memory is taking me back to. I gotta show this reaction to him and play these songs and see what happens. But whenever I play something for him, I just watch his eyebrows. He's got bushy eyebrows, and if his eyebrows reach to the sky, that tells me that, okay, it's coming from his side, his influence. Sometimes there's a little overlap there, but most of the time, where it comes to folk rock like this, classic rock, blues, and jazz and stuff like that, it's more on his side. So, you're probably saying, well, why do you call yourself Soul Train, bro? Well, I don't know. I had my mom in mind first, and my dad is still around. My mom is passed, so I felt a little bit more led towards more of a tribute towards her in a sense, because she was one of those major influences in music. I didn't think that I would actually go down the road to actually do the Beyond Classic Rock channel, where it's everything outside of classic rock, more kind of her kind of music that she would have listened to. But I didn't think that far ahead back then. I just, it was just my way of kind of keeping her in memory because she loved music so much. So, back to Judith. Judith is the name of my big sister, by the way. Judith Durham. Definitely an influence, especially being around in the 60s. She was probably maybe one of only handful of women around back then, especially with the British invasion and all these different things. So I don't imagine that there was a huge bounty of women in such a prominent form. Correct me if I'm wrong, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but she was in the midst of all of that back in the day. So good on her, man. And she had talent, and she had the chops to stand on her own and to rub shoulders with all of them back in the day. So that's really, really cool. Let's do this. Seeing that I don't know anything about these guys, I know their music now that I've heard it. Let's do a little background. I'm at her wiki here, and it's a decent amount of info. You know what I'll do? Usually I bounce around a bit here. I'll read her entire personal life part, save that for last. I'll read a bit of her solo stuff, and then most of her seeker stuff, because I think that's where she had her most success. So let's start with her opening bio. Judith Durham. Judith Durham, Order of Australia. Born Judith Mavis Coe, the 3rd of July 1943 to the 5th of August 2002, was an Australian singer, songwriter, and musician who became the lead singer of the Australian popular folk rock music group The Seekers in 1963. Sorry, y'all, give me a quick sec. That's someone at my door. I think it's an Amazon delivery. Give me a sec. Okay. Are we recording? Yeah, we're back. Yeah, so, let me start over. Judith Durham, Order of Australia. Born Judith Mavis Coe, 3rd of July 1943 to the 5th of August 2022. Was an Australian singer, songwriter, and musician who became the lead singer of the Australian popular folk rock music group The Seekers in 1963. Yeah, right in the middle of the British invasion. The group became the first Australian pop music group to achieve major chart and sales success in the UK and the US, and have sold over 50 million records worldwide. Durham left the group in mid-68 to pursue her solo career. In '93, Durham began to make sporadic recordings and performances with the Seekers, though she remained primarily a solo performer. On the 1st of July in 2015, she was named Victorian of the Year for her services to music and a range of charities. Right on. I love hearing about celebrities giving back. Once they've made it, they don't forget where they came from, how they started, and it's always a nice thing to give back. All right, the Seekers. The Seekers consisted of Durham, Athol Guy, Bruce Woodley, and Keith Potger, an ABC radio producer. Through Potger's position, the three were able to make a demo tape in their spare time. This was given to the W&G Records, which wanted another sample of Durham's voice before agreeing to record a jazz preacher's album. W&G instead signed the Seekers for an album introducing the Seekers in 1963. Durham, however, recorded 2 other songs with the Jazz Preachers, Muddy Water, which appeared on their album Jazz from the Pulpit, and Trombone Frankie, an adaptation version of Bessie Smith's Trombone Charlie. In early '64, the Seekers sailed to the UK on SS Fairsky, on which the group provided the musical entertainment. Originally, they had planned to return after 10 weeks, but then received a steady stream of bookings through the Grady Agency because they had sent the agency a copy of their first album. On the 4th of November in '64, at EMI's Abbey Road Studios, the Seekers recorded I'll Never Find Another You. In February of '65, the song reached number 1 in the UK and Australia. The group had further top 10 hits with A World of Our Own, Morningtown Ride, and Someday, One Day. Georgie Girl reached number 2 on the Billboard chart and number 1 on the Cashbox chart in the US. Well, yeah, I know both of those songs that I played. The Carnival Is Over is still one of the top 50 best-selling singles in the UK. On the 12th of March in '67, the Seekers set an official all-time Australian record when more than 200,000 people, nearly 1/10 of the city's entire population at the time, flocked to their performance at the Sydney Myer Music Bowl in Melbourne. Their TV special, The Seekers Down Under, scored the biggest TV audience ever, with a 67 rating, and early in '68, they were all awarded the nation's top honor as Australians of the Year in '67. On a tour of New Zealand in February of '68, Durham advised the group that she was leaving the Seekers and left in July of '68. Yeah, okay, so 5 years. Yeah, 5 years of grinding. She was smart though. She came in with them during the height and the peak of music with the influence of, the Jerry Lees and the Little Richards on the American side and then the British invasion side. And so there was a lot of opportunity, and it was just that burst in the Renaissance period. So she rode that wave. Very, very, very smart of her. From '63 to '68. Really, really good time to do some grinding. Okay, so solo career. Durham returned to Australia in August of '68, and her first solo TV special, An Evening with Judith Durham, screened on the 9th network in September. During her solo career, she released albums titled For Christmas with Love, Gift of a Song, and Climb Every Mountain. In 1970, she had made the TV special Meet Judith Durham in London, ending with her rendition of When You Come to the End of a Perfect Day, a cover by Carrie Jacobs Bond. Carrie Jacobs Bond lived from 1862 to 1946. I gotta look her up. In '75, Durham starred in an acting and single role as Sarah Simmons, a burlesque-type performer in The Golden Girl, and an episode of the Australian TV series Cash and Co. Set in the 1800s Australian goldfields, the episode also featured Durham's husband, Ron Edgeworth, on piano. Okay, wow, yeah, there's a lot of information here. Let's read this part though, charities, because she seems really active in charities. Durham recorded the Australian City Sweep album with all proceeds going to the charitable sector. The album was originally planned for release in October of 2008, but was eventually pushed back to April of 2012. The project was to benefit charities such as the Motor Neuron Disease Association of Australia. Durham was the national patron, and Orchestra Victoria, in addition to other charities which benefit from the Lord Mayor's Charitable Fund or its national affiliated network in the United Way. Really, really good. Let's skip over. There's a lot of timestamps. What it's showing here is that she's been busy her entire career. So going from the Seekers and then into her solo stuff, she's been busy throughout her career. So they're showing you timestamps of year sequence, and so she's been busy the entire time. It would just take too long to read all of that. What I am interested in, though, is a little bit more of a personal look at her. So let's read her personal life. On the 21st of November in '69, Durham married her musical director, British pianist Ron Edgeworth, at Scots Church in Melbourne. They lived in the UK and Switzerland until the mid-80s, when they bought property in Queensland. In 1990, Durham Edgeworth and their tour manager, Peter Summers, were involved in a car accident on the Calder Freeway. The driver of the other car died at the scene, and Durham sustained a fractured wrist and leg. The response from her fans made Durham consider getting back together with the other members of the Seekers for a Silver Jubilee show. During this reunion, Edgeworth was diagnosed with motor neuron disease. Okay, that's why she was a patron, because her husband was sick with the disease. He died on the 10th of December in '94 with Durham by his side. In the late 90s, Durham was stalked by a former president of the Judith Durham fan club, a woman who sent her dozens of doormats through the post. The woman was subsequently prosecuted and was later imprisoned for other serial crimes. Interesting. The doormat thing. It reminded me of one of my chiefs in the Navy, and he was being stalked by, I guess, a lover who was a spurned lover, and she would send doormats to him in the mail. I guess the protest on her side being, you're treating me like a doormat, I'm only one of many women in different ports, something like that. But it got really, really serious, you know. She sent people to beat him up and everything, and so it got really, really bad. Back to Judith, though. Sorry, my memory just went off there. In 2000, Durham broke her hip and was able to sing "The Carnival Is Over" at the closing ceremony of the 2000 Olympics in Sydney with the Seekers. However, she sang it from a wheelchair at the 2000 Paralympics shortly after. Wow, I'm thinking of Phil Collins. Phil is right now wheelchair bound. He can't do an entire concert standing up now. In May 2013, during the Seekers' Golden Jubilee Tour, Durham suffered a stroke that diminished her ability to read and write, both visual language and musical scores. Wow. During her convalescence, she made progress to rebuild those skills. Her singing ability was not affected by the stroke, though. Durham died after suffering from bronchiectasis, a chronic lung disease, at the Alfred Hospital in Melbourne on the 5th of August in 2022, age 79. She lived a full life, but sorry she suffered at the tail end of it. Rest in peace to you, man. Yeah, a great influencer. And as my mind is seeing in my mind's eye, she's probably one of only few ladies riding the wake, excuse my damn throat, riding the wake of the British invasion. And she did it right. She did it in the time frame when the British invasion and music and the Renaissance period was just booming. So she had some wherewithal about that. Yeah, you know, I'm definitely going to stick with the Seekers for a while, ride this out, and then go off on my own. That's probably when she'll be thinking about maybe even, settling down, raising a family and that sort of thing, and having a solo career. So as far as I can see, she did it right, and she did it very, very well. So, yeah, it's the time. It's the time of year, it's the time of season when we start losing some of our great influences in music, man. So it always seems to come in patterns of threes, doesn't it? And not always, and I'm not super superstitious or anything like that, but I just see patterns. And what I'm saying is that whenever I do tribute reactions, if you've noticed over the last, how long have I been at this? Almost 4 years? Geez, it's exactly 4 years. We're into August. I've been doing this for 4 years, y'all. Minus my absence since I actually stopped doing reactions. But yeah, it's been 4 years. So what's my point? My point is that my tribute reactions, they are usually grouped whenever I do tribute reactions. If you've been noticing that. Have you noticed that? That whenever I do a tribute reaction, right away within that same week, there's a short grouping of time where there's usually threes. I've been seeing patterns of 3. But I hope not. I hope that in this case, that I'm more wrong than right. All right. I'm scrolling down, just checking my notes. Okay, man. No notes. Basically, all I can say is that I hope that you won't be seeing me anytime very, very soon, because usually it's in the form of a tribute reaction, and that means that we've lost another great influencer in music. What I'll do here with this particular tribute is I'll put it up on both the platforms. I know that, Charles, you sent this to me on the Classic Rock channel, but you know, this is one of those good examples where it kind of crosses over, so I'm going to put it up on both platforms, okay? And we'll go that way. It's also more than likely, I'm not sure, it might actually go up on my Vimeo as well, because whenever YouTube blocks me, then I usually route through Vimeo. I can't drop the V word too much because I'll actually get a community guideline strike. Can you believe that? I'm not going to swear because I'm doing a tribute reaction. You know what I was going to say though. Yeah, there was something else I was going to mention here in regards to my reactions coming up, but it slipped my mind. I'm out of practice, that's why. Anyways, y'all, that is our look at Judith Durham. Very, very nice lady, a great singer, and I really like the timeline of her career and how she started from 63 to 68. That's a really, really excellent grouping of years for her to be grinding and getting a lot of benefit out of the notoriety and the times, you know. So a really, really good example of somebody riding that wake of the Renaissance period. Well, with that said, Charles, thanks very much. I appreciate you sending me this notice. And everyone else, take care of yourselves. I hope all is good. Hope you're enjoying a good summer. Remember your sunblock. Remember to watch the way you are driving on the road. In the last little while, I've been seeing a lot of careless accidents. I was driving once, and the guy, just a couple of days ago, the guy in front of me started going off in a fishtail, and I thought, oh, he must be drunk, or maybe he's sick, maybe he's getting a seizure. So I got into the left lane and I sped up, and I was kind of pulling up and looking into his cabin. He was eating a bowl of cereal. Can you believe that? He was eating a bowl of cereal and fishtailing all over the road. Come on, man. So be careful how you drive and watch who's driving on the road with you, okay? So just be careful. Anyways, have a good one, y'all. Take care, and I'll see you in my next tribute reaction. Peace.